Hello everybody, good evening. How are you all tonight? Welcome to the Scottish Quilter. I'm Wendy, hello. And you're getting blinded by my glasses. See, the only trouble is I can't see now. Anyway, are you well? Everybody organised for tomorrow? I'm not. Still got a few things to do, still got Neil's presents to wrap, still got a couple of things to do, and we've got visitors in. So I promised them we would be through in 10 minutes. And actually, Doreen and Dave are here. And Doreen come through because Dave had seen me drinking Baileys. So she brought me a bottle for my Christmas. How nice is that? They didn't bring a straw and they didn't bring a glass, so I'll need to go and join them. Anyway, have you had a busy week? Because I've had a mental busy week. You would have thought after last week's Monday Club finishing, I had a whole week to get organised. But we've been here and we've been there and we've been wrapping and we've been quilting and we've been doing this and we've been doing that. Anyway, and not sleeping. So yesterday morning I was downstairs at 10 to 4 and Neil was downstairs 5 minutes later, and that was the day started, although I did get a wee doze. But by last night I never got my Advent done because my big girl came for our dinner with my grandchildren and we had a lovely dinner, but Neil opened the Prosecco. So by the time I had a couple of glasses of Prosecco and had my dinner, I was ready for bed. And I wouldn't have made much sense on my Advent. So it's all done and uploaded. So if you haven't seen them, the last one is on tonight. But because I went to bed early, I woke up this morning at silly o'clock. I had my alarm set for 5 because I had lots to do. Anyway, I woke up and I was lying awake and I thought, you know, just get up. You've got lots to do, just get up. So I come downstairs and by the time I got downstairs, it was 3:32. And here we are, it's now, I don't actually know what time it is, it must be about 8 o'clock. And anyway, I've not stopped all day till I've sat in my little bottom right now. Not that it's little, because you'll remember that for last week when I was climbing over the windows. Hey ho. So this morning I actually made a list because I had my mum's little quilt to finish and the reindeer were coming to the nursing home today. So I thought to myself, it was 3 by 3 blocks of the Merry Little Christmas blocks by Tilda. These were the extra ones I had. And I thought, you know, I could get them put together. So they were in three rows already. I cut out the sashing this morning. I cut out binding. I cut out a border, 2-inch border, 2-inch sashing. And I started at 6:32. So I'd wasted 3 hours, one of which I was dozing for an hour. Another hour I was pottering about in the kitchen and getting things done. I've not made mince pies. Neil has made mulled wine. He made that last night. So we'll get some of that tomorrow and try it out. And if it's good, we'll get him to make it again for Boxing Day maybe. And so this morning I fitted about for a wee while, and then at 6:32 I come through here and I started putting the sashing on Mum's quilt. Now you're going to see pictures of it and you'll see me working on it just coming up just shortly. At 7:40 the quilt top was finished. At 8:10 it was wadded up and all pressed up, and I had a damn good press, as we say, Anne and I. At 8:47 the binding had been made and I started quilting. At 9:05, I must have started the quilting at 8:10. At 8:47 I made the binding. At 9:05 I started putting the binding on and I was finished at 9:33. 3 hours it took me, non-stop. The smoke was coming out my machine. Megan was in, she came and did all the dogs for me. Neil had lost the bike key, but he found it, so all that was going on as well. But I better tell you the story about that. Anyway, he came in last night and said he's lost the bike key, as in the quad bike key. which is normally parked up in the shed, the keys taken out and is hidden, but it must have fallen somewhere and was either in the calf pen with all the straw or wherever. Anyway, come in and said, where's my metal detector? And I was like, where is your metal detector? So, was it in the front room? No. I said, you know, I vaguely remember tidying it up somewhere, but I can't remember where I tidied it because it has been hanging about for a while. Years, in fact. It's gone from the hall to the front room to behind couches, and eventually I must have got fed up and put it away. So I said, try the cottage, because there's a wee cottage over there that's like a garage, basically. Nobody lives in it, and it's got no heating, no running water. It's got lights, but that's about it. Anyway, try in there, because it's a kind of storage place. Nope, no metal detector. So he was kind of lost. So he was going to have to go a 20-minute drive today to the other end of the valley to get a bundle of keys to come and see if any of these keys fitted, because he had to go to the hill to check the sheep. Anyway, this morning, Megan said, try the cottage. And last night I'd said, try the cottage. So this morning, he went and tried the cottage. And went in the wee door in the cottage and found the metal detector. So he came in and he said, I've got these 2 square batteries. Have you got any batteries? I said, yes, dear. The batteries are sitting in the living room behind the couch that I asked you last week to fit in the 2 smoke detectors because the batteries were running out. That's the backup batteries. So yes, dear, there's new batteries there. Where are they? Still behind the couch, on the living room, just as you go in the door. So away he goes, puts in his metal detector, and he goes up to the shed, and in the calf meal box, it was going berserk, beep, 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 beep. So he had a rumble about, and lo and behold, the bike key was in there, so it must have fallen from his hand or pocket or hiding place or somewhere. And the next we knew was the bike was zooming about, so I thought, he's working. So I was working away here. Megan had all the dogs to do. And then what else did she do? She was in doing something else, leaving some presents and picking stuff up. But we had to be out here for 10 o'clock. Oh, she went to get the ice cream for me because the ice cream was due to be picked up in Girvan by 10. Anyway, she went and got the ice cream and we got it in the freezer, and I ran for a shower and we got out here at 10 to 11. So it was a bit later than normal, but we went to see lovely baby Hayley and a lovely mum and dad, Stuart and Matilda. Matilda's parents were there, her brother was there, Ellie and Michael were there, and their parents were there. And it was lovely, and everybody was just finishing breakfast. Some people were all disappearing to go back to their own houses, ready for tomorrow and for tonight. And they'd had a big Swedish celebration yesterday. So we took baby Hayley her present up, which was I can't remember what it's called. It's a wee bike that you don't have pedals. I keep going to say the Roadrunner, but in a month's time she will be the Roadrunner. Anyway, she loved it and was having great fun right till she fell off it. Anyway, can't remember what it was called. So we were kind of fleeing by the seat of our pants most of the day. It was really nice to be up there, and then we went to see Mum at the nursing home. And we took her out with her newly quilted small quilt on her knee in the wheelchair, and we took her down to see the reindeer, which was lovely. 2 lovely, well-behaved, well-controlled, well-fed and looked after reindeer that come along and come to see the patients, and they brought lots of carrots, and it was just really nice, and they were so soft. There was a castrated male and a female, so one had their horns and one didn't. One had lost their horns and knocked them off, and the other one's horns, the fur was coming off, which is normal for this time of year. Anyway, talking about animals, I have a story to tell you. So now that you've seen Mum's quilt and saw what we're up to today, oh, by the way, I made the binding for Mum's quilt out of a fat quarter. That is what was left of the fat quarter and of the binding. See? Flying by the skin of my teeth today. So I just thought I'll let you see that. That's what was left. I was amazed at it. I mean, it was neat. Anyway, wait to hear this story. So, last week I was telling you that we had a mouse story to tell you. So since it's Christmas time, I'm going to tell you the story about what happened a few years ago. Now, living in an old farmhouse, you do get mice coming in from kind of the end of October onwards. So, in fact, I've got a mouse trap in here. I never checked it tonight. Anyway, somehow or another, the mice got upstairs into the bedrooms, and obviously there's telltale signs when the mice are there, so we put the traps out. And this year, the children were all coming to stay. It was a big family Christmas. 3 children, 3 partners, 2 Waynes, a dad, and everybody was, I can't remember who else was there this year. And anyway, it was not long after I had my spinal surgery, so I was sitting in the big chair in the front room. And some of the children are okay with mice and some are not. Let's put it that way. So on Christmas Eve morning, I had been round all the mice traps, under the beds, under wardrobes, and various different places, and there was no mice. There hadn't been mice for days and days and days, and it was all fine. Anyway, we had a lovely Christmas dinner, and my middle daughter was going up the stairs to her bed. They were going up about 10 o'clock. They were tired, and they were going to the nice big room up the stairs. Well, bearing in mind, my granddaughter was here, who was 7. Everybody was in the front lounge. It's just 10 o'clock at night and Christmas night, and a few people had had quite a bit of a drink, as you do at Christmas. Anyway, Stacey goes up the stairs to bed, and the next minute we hear this almighty scream, and I thought, oh boy, what's happened? So Neil decides he was going to go and see what happened, quickly followed by Skylar, who was only about 7 at the time, and went away up the stairs. Anyway, this is funny, but it's no funny. Anyway, the poor wee mice had got caught by its leg, and it had obviously rumbled out from underneath the wardrobe, and it was in the middle of the floor in the trap. Now it was dead. It was very dead. Anyway, Neil brought it down the stairs and came into the living room and sat down beside Ryan, and he's sitting stroking the wee mouse, and he's saying, now, if you know Neil, you know he likes a joke, and he's sitting stroking this wee mouse. So there's Neil, and there's Ryan, and there's Skylar, and there's Steph, and Steph's got a nice big drink of vodka and lemonade or something. And then everybody else is all sitting round about, and I'm sitting at this side, and my dad's sitting here beside me. Anyway, Neil's sitting down there. Now the coal fire's on at this side, and he's sitting and he's stroking away this wee mice and saying, I don't think it's dead. I think it's just been stunned, and if I just stroke it, it'll maybe be all right, and then we'll let it back out the front door. So Ryan's kind of looking, and my dad's saying beside me, I don't like mice. I don't like mice. And Neil's sitting stroking this mouse. So Ryan kind of looks over like this, and just at that point, Neil flicked the mouse like this, and it jumped off and landed in Ryan's knee. Well, bearing in mind, there was also dogs lining people's legs. Anyway, Steph let out a scream, jumped over the table between her and I with this drink that went everywhere. Ryan jumped a mile. He's flicking the mouse off like this and grabs the mouse and throws it into the fire. Now, bear in mind, it's dead. It's just getting cremated at this point. Anyway, Skylar's screaming and wondering what's going on. Stephanie's jumped over the table, drink everywhere, over me, over the back to the front window. And my dad's going, I don't like mice. I don't like mice. I think I'm going to be sick. And sick as in sick. And anyway, it was like a comedy out of Fawlty Towers. You had to see this to believe it. The place was in an absolute uproar over a mouse. But then we got, oh, it's a shame. It's now in the fire. Anyway, the wee mouse was no more. But I was looking about earlier on to find a wee little ornament mouse, which we do have somewhere, and I couldn't find it. But the one that I did find was in amongst all the gonks. And here she is here. And she's got big strong legs too that makes her go up and down. Hello, wee mouse. Anyway, that's my mouse story. Right, seriousness back again. Christmas Eve, and my children, when they were younger, I used to always read to them Twas the Night Before Christmas, and I always had a wee book. And I don't know if I've maybe given it to Steph for the children or whether, I can't find it. and I don't know where it might be, but it's the same. It's only a wee tiny book that I've had for a long time. Anyway, I have got it on a kitchen towel, which was bought as a gift a couple of years ago. So I'm going to read to you what I would read to my children on Christmas Eve before they went to bed. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even the mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in the hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all slug in their beds, the visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out in the lawn there arose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash. Tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a lustre of midday and objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his courses they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. Well, I hope Santa comes to you all tonight, and I hope you have a really lovely Christmas day tomorrow and enjoy all the festivities and all the holidays. And I will see you as normal next Wednesday on New Year's Eve. Love you all. Bye. Bye bye.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!